don't know what the Z stands for, if it's for to go to the stadium and sleep, but it looks like it's Plan Z and a Z after that. Let's move to the stadium, and it is not Krezel that's going to do the talk. It's going to be Connie and Gary, and I believe they're also from the IT department. Connie and Gary, where are you? Oh, there they are. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Connie van Zyl. I'm the Senior Network Engineer at the Nelson Mandela University. With me is Mr. Gary Onaus. He's the, help me out here, Deputy Director of ICT Operations at the university. Today we're going to talk about Plan ZZ, which is once you've ran out of alphabet twice, that's the final plan that you implement. This was the plan that was implemented to save the 2016 academic year at the university due to various factors. And as you can see, the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium played a relatively big role in getting that done. Let's just get this all done. There we go. Okay, so just a bit of background about the university. We are situated, let me rather get this one, in Port Elizabeth, which is way down there. Welcome to Port Elizabeth. The actual metro consists of PE itself, as well as Dispatch and Uitenhage, and the whole surrounding rural area, which is also where most of our students then come from. We've got about 27,000 students, with a staff complement of about 3,000. We have 8 campuses spanning 2 provinces. We've got 6 campuses in PE, 1 in George in the Western Cape, and 1 in East London. And like we said previously, in July 2017, we changed our name from Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University to Nelson Mandela University. Here you can see our 6 campuses in Port Elizabeth. We've got our South Campus, North Campus, Ocean Science Campus, which is our newest campus, 2nd Avenue, Bird Street Campus, and the Mission Vale Campus. And an interesting fact is that is our business school at 2nd Avenue Campus, and that's the first building in South Africa that's got a 4-star green design. So that'll also become the benchmark for future green buildings in the country. These are 2 remote campuses. That's our East London Business School, and this is the picturesque George Campus in the Western Cape. So just as a bit of background, to our remote campuses, this was the bandwidth we had to our campuses in 2015. So we had a lot of wireless links in the metro itself. To our George campus, we had a 30 megabit per second Telkom Metro line, and to our East London campus, that in 2015, that was actually a 4 meg Diginet line. So this is a newer slide. So the university had some drivers that were forcing us to re-look at our WAN capacity and delivering content such as e-learning and big data. We had to reduce operational costs by centralizing core services, while at the same time, just click there, improving communication and collaboration between campuses. And as Wi-Fi was ever increasing, so was the appetite for bandwidth, research bandwidth, and big data. And then research bandwidth, and then disaster recovery was not low on the priority list, but due to factors that were events a bit later on, DR would become quite significant. So we were always faced with a situation that every IT department is faced. We can have any 2 of those 3 requirements. You can have it cheap or fast, or cheap and reliable. You pick it. So it was clear that we had to break away from the mold, the conventional thinking of leased lines and that sort of thing. So we've always had a good relationship with the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro. So we signed or entered into an MOU with them to share services between the two parties. That opened up the opportunity for us to make use of the Metro's fiber infrastructure to specifically connect the campuses in the PE area. This turned out to not be a viable option, as there were various political factors involved that we won't get into just yet. So that opened up some other doors. We had to get more strategic partners, which is we engaged with MTNs, the Vodacom, Sanrin, and Tenet, and then the Metro itself. So where one door closed for us, a couple of new ones opened up, and even the one that closed eventually opened up again. But more on that one a bit later as well. So Vodacom and MTN approached the university as they had to expand their cell coverage on campus. That obviously meant new fiber routes, more fiber routes. So we entered into a duct swap agreement with them, where we would provide them with fiber routes on campus, and in exchange for that, they would provide us with fiber routes off campus into the city. That meant that we could install our own fiber infrastructure inside their routes. It'll essentially become dark fiber for us, and we could light that fiber, as many of them, at speeds what we wanted to. The only sort of catch with that was that we had to make use of the cellular service providers, maintenance service providers, and the only data that was allowed over those networks would be university data itself. We were not allowed to resell that onto other people and thus become an ISP. Okay. MTN was the first service provider we partnered with. They offered us a 4-kilometer route between our North Campus and our 2nd Avenue campus. We installed a 72-core fiber between the two campuses, as we had a bigger picture in mind with that campus later on. That link was commissioned on the 22nd of March by Mr. Onas himself. Yeah, and we lit it at 10 gigabit per second. Yeah. So this is just the physical route. There's our North Campus, and we basically followed that green route provided by MTN to our 2nd Avenue campus over there. Then we had a chat with Vodacom. Vodacom gave us fiber optic routes into the city itself. 2nd Avenue campus would thus become a hub for the remote campus connectivity. So Vodacom would provide us with connectivity to the Nelson Mandela Bay Disaster Management Center, which is at the South End Fire Station. They would provide us with a link to our Bird Street campus and to our Missionvale campus. We finalized a 15-year duct swap agreement with Vodacom in 2016, with the idea being that they're not going anywhere anytime soon, and we're not going anywhere anytime soon. But obviously, we can provide Vodacom with the same distance of fiber route on our campuses that they provided us with off campus. So to make up for the shortfall, we are actually leasing those routes from them, and we just pay them an annual cost for that, which is still a fraction of the cost of what it would have cost us to get those routes from Telcom or telco service providers. So this is the fiber route from 2nd Avenue campus to the South End Fire Station over there, which is the Disaster Management Center. And then from the South End Fire Station over here, we needed to get to our Bird Street campus, but we've got the Balkans River in between there, so getting a route between those two sites would have been impossible, so we had to take a bit of a 11-kilometer detour to get to Bird Street campus. And then this is the long one where we go from the South End Fire Station all the way to Missionvale campus, which is about 22 kilometers away. And then the unthinkable happened. 2016, Fees Must Fall finally reached the peak. Nobody was allowed onto campuses with the campus shutdowns, and we had a bit of an issue with personal damage to private property and to university property as well. And this one was actually my car that was stolen as well. So yeah, didn't escape us. So a workaround had to be found to get students access to e-learning resources on campus. The first was that we partnered with the Metro again. Because we had a link to the Disaster Management Center, we could deploy Wi-Fi, university Wi-Fi, in 11 strategic libraries throughout the Metro, which would be become student hubs. We also engaged with cellular service providers so that they would zero-rate data that's destined for the university's e-learning resources. So this is just an indication of the spread of the universities relative to the student population in the metro. That's South Campus, North Campus, 2nd Avenue, Bird Street, and Mission Vale Campus. And this slide just indicates the purple dots are the 11 libraries that we targeted, and the blue ones are the 12 remaining libraries that will get university Wi-Fi in due course. So this was the academic completion plan. To be totally honest, it's a bit of Greek to me. Our focus area was pretty much this, just focusing on connectivity. So because there was such a big drive towards e-learning, it was also clear that we needed an off-campus campus so that we can still have face-to-face classes with students and that we can provide the relevant teaching and learning resources for students to actually complete the academic year. Enter the NMB Stadium. So this is a state-of-the-art facility, obviously built for the 2010 World Cup. The move to the stadium was a massive team effort in very trying circumstances, which enabled the university to meet its objective of completing the 2016 academic year. So technically the university, or the stadium, became our 9th campus in just 8 days. And that provided us secure facilities where students could safely write exams at the end of the year. So our fiber connectivity projects resulted us in being able to connect to the stadium, or to connect the stadium to our network, which allowed us to establish ICT facilities in the stadium itself. We even had a 120-seater computer lab with printing facilities in the venue itself. So obviously security was a big problem, but the stadium being the stadium, this is their forte when it comes to game day. So the university developed an in-house application to ensure access or secure access or controlling the access to the stadium. A list of students and staff were published every day for access. If your name was not on the list, if you could not prove your identity, you don't get in. It was simple as that. There were absolutely no exceptions to that rule. So this is just an indication of what our computer lab looked like, very makeshift. We could accommodate computer science, information technology, IT, and graphics design, and all these specialized computer equipment. The draping was not part of the whole deal. So this was just one of the larger lecture venues. As you can see, we had complete audio-visual aids in there. We had Wi-Fi coverage in all the lecture venues. And this was our exam venue, our main exam venue. It was actually a passage that's outside the luxury suites of the stadium. There wasn't a company in South Africa, or the only company in South Africa that could provide us with sufficient furniture for this venue was based in Cape Town. So they actually sent all that furniture overnight in 2 trucks to be ready for exams. Okay, so in 8 days of hard work, we managed to provide the academics with 12 teaching and learning days. More than 10,000 students were able to complete their modules, and we provided 24 exam days in which more than 31,000 students were admitted to exams. And the result of all of this was that in 2017, 6,655 students graduated, compared to 6,258 in the year before. Also, Fees Must Fall was the catalyst that saw the uptake of e-learning at the university. During the first 3 months of 2017, 600 new module sites were created on Moodle, with more than 390,000 logins during March 2017 alone. So since Fees Must Fall, the network has and continues to be the enabler of e-learning at the university. And that is me in a nutshell.
Thank you very much. Any questions? I think we have at least 10 minutes left.
We tried.
No questions? There's a question. Where's the mic? Yeah. There's a mic.
I think I should actually be the one asking the questions.
Hi. Congratulations, guys. That was very impressive.
Thank you.
My question is around zero rating your data for the LMS stuff. How did you guys go around with the external links? So if there was content that required external links, how did the service providers cater for that?
Yeah.
So the Vodacoms and the MTNs, they would only zero rate basically all the stuff that was hosted on-premise. So we encourage staff to try and keep the content instead of pointing into YouTube, download the video hosted on our service, that sort of thing. So we couldn't zero rate third-party hosted content. The reason being the way the zero rated worked was that it's zero rated for every subscriber and not just for a group of students. So zero rating something like YouTube would essentially zero rated for all South Africans.
Any more questions? Congratulations and thank you very much.